Azri, thank you so very, very much for passing over to us here in Haakskenpan. It's been a fantastic morning, which I think I've said about 10 times, and I'm going to continue to say it, so bear with me, because it has just been something that I've never experienced before. And you know, I think when you come here for the first time, you just, there's very, very few words to describe what it's like to be standing on this kind of surface, being in this environment where you truly are in the middle of nowhere. If there was a definition of the middle of nowhere, this is it. So the fact that this was found as a spot to be playing host to this world-breaking event is quite incredible. And I want to find out how this place was found, because I mean, out of I think about 30,000 different destinations, it was narrowed down to 36, and then this was chosen as the one. And what I'm hearing from this particular destination is that there's a, you know, it's all encompassing. So the car, as well as the environment, as well as the community, are working together to ensure that this particular world record is broken. So in order to talk to us a little bit more about it, I've got the chief engineer with us who is going to explain it to us. His name is Mark Chapman. And also, knowing that this is it's almost a collaboration between South Africa and the UK, it's good to be joined by the British High Commission Regional Head, John Wayde-Smith, here on Morning Live. Good to have both of you. Welcome to the programme.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's first just talk about, I mean, I was pointing out how, you know, for me to describe this, it's almost describing it as the middle of nowhere. And it really feels that way. But how was it found, this location?
So we looked really, really hard to find a place on the planet we could run this car, because it's a unique problem. So we're trying to go from naught to 1,600 kilometres back to naught again, and we need 20 kilometres to do that. And there are very, very few places on the planet, and you can go literally to Google Earth and you can look for discs of the planet that are that big, and you then have to go and physically see them.
Yeah.
And there were two in South Africa we looked at. There was Wayde-Smith, which Malcolm Campbell drove on in 1929, and then when we look at that one, they said, have you looked at Haakskenpan? And Haakskenpan is unbelievable. It is absolutely perfect. I mean, the community that's put the work into this, but the surface is part of the car.
Yeah.
The car is only designed to run on this surface, and actually it gives us everything we could possibly want.
It's actually fascinating when you're driving here, and I'm sure you'll agree with me as well. When you're driving, you're going through the red dunes, so it's very hilly, and you've got these magnificent red dunes that obviously are, you know, full of grass and rocks and you name it. And then suddenly you come over one specific hill, and then it is just flat pan. It's almost surreal that you cannot actually believe that from what we're surrounded by, there's this flat pan in this area. It's fantastic to see.
So this actually is a salt lake. So this is a dried riverbed, and it's kind of unique to this area, and the fact that it floods every year is fantastic for us. So every year it smooths itself off, but it's difficult to get an idea of the scale. So I was here 3 years ago doing the testing we did on the wheels, and you drive across this pan and you lose sense of direction, and you think the hills are quite close, and you just keep driving, you keep driving, you keep driving. 20 minutes later you're still driving.
Yeah.
And it's that scale that people don't get a chance to experience.
Yeah, that's why I keep on emphasizing you've got to come down here to feel and experience this yourself. John, have you been, I mean, this area, have you been here before?
I have not. This is my first time,
First
and
time.
like you, shocked when I sort of turned around and saw this sheer expanse, and then driving along it, and it just keeps going and going. It's remarkable. It's a great excuse to come up here, and I'm pleased to be here.
It is. It's a great excuse. And you know, one thing we haven't mentioned here on the program is that I think annually they have this event where if you have a fast car or a supercar or whatever you've got and you want to open it up and just let this thing go, this is the place to come, and they allow them to just go any speed, and you know, it's the place to do it, which is beautiful. John, getting back to this relationship between South Africa and the UK, obviously it's a collaboration. I mean, you've got Andy, who is from the UK. You've got the event happening here in South Africa. Talk to us about the partnership.
Well, I mean, I think that the UK partnership is very rich and very wide with South Africa. And I cover science innovation, and we have probably the largest program we have at the moment now is with South Africa on the science front. We have ours is about £6 million this year, the UK contribution to the partnership on research and collaboration in South Africa. And, you know, our investment in the youth through other scholarship programs is enormous. So this comes along here, and for us what's so exciting about this is not only is it a magnificent engineering feat and a scientific feat and a human endeavour feat, but it's inspiring a new generation, hopefully, of South Africans, youth who will take up science, technology, maths as part of their future. the Bloodhound Education Project, the British High Commission supported, has touched thousands of school kids all around this country. And it's all about inspiring them to be the next generation of people contributing to the knowledge economy in South Africa. So it's an exciting program, and it has much bigger benefits. And for South Africa, it's going to put South Africa, Northern Cape, on the map. It will be seen by billions. And it's a very exciting time.
Yeah, and it is. It's an important thing to put this place on the map, because it deserves it. It so richly deserves it. I was talking about this collaboration, and we were chatting off air, and I said to you, I need to understand how Andy is going to be safe in this vehicle, how it is humanly possible for a man who is a mere mortal to be in a vehicle and basically going through the sound barrier. I mean, that's what happens. How is he protected in this car?
So we've been working on this for 9 years now as a project, and it's all been very key. Andy is the only driver, and it's how we protect him and make sure he's safe. The car's hugely strong, but also the research we've been doing over these last years to work out how strong that car needs to be. But then when we come to South Africa next year, we don't give them the keys and say, fill your boots, off you go, do 1,000 miles an hour. It's very much starting off progressively, 200 miles an hour, 300 miles an hour, and then building up next year to 800 miles an hour, so 1,300 kilometres, and then get all that information so we can share all that data live off the car. So we're taking 400 data channels off that car and transmitting it live off the pan, so people can kind of check our homework for us. And then as we go on to the next year to the 1,000 miles an hour, we treble the size of the rocket, so we get even more power. So we have 20 tons of thrust, 135,000 horsepower.
It's crazy. It is crazy. And then we can understand why every single small pebble or bigger grain of sand that it should be needs to be picked up, because at that speed, that can cause devastating problems.
So we go 1,600 kilometres an hour is faster than a bullet. So you look at these stones on the pan and you think that is the size of a bullet. So the work the community has done here is outstanding. So I was here 3 years ago when we were doing wheel testings exactly for that. So we were driving wheels up and down this desert to see how they react with the desert, how they worked with the stones, and we changed our wheel design. Also, we worked out what stones we need to pick up and what stones we don't. But it is, we are faster than a bullet. We actually get the airspeed record as well as the land speed record. The altitude of this desert is just about 1,000 metres. No aircraft has ever flown at 1,600 kilometres at 1,000 metres.
Oh my gosh! So you talk about science. This is groundbreaking science. This is revolutionary.
Well, I think there's an awful lot of science packed into this, and but I think a lot of it is down to this. It's the human endeavour stuff, which I think is quite extraordinary. I think the really important stuff is as you mentioned here, is the community of contributed so much to this. We talk about governmental partnerships, and this couldn't have been done without the local community doing what they've done to make this ready for this event. So it's everything from the most high-tech technology, human endeavour, down to local communities making their part to make this happen. So it's a truly sort of holistic approach, which I think is fantastic.
I just want to find out when the car reaches a certain speed. Somebody was talking to me, and please just bear with me because I know nothing. Okay, I have learned so much in the last 2 days that my mind, I think, is going faster than 1,600 kilometers an hour. But when it goes through a certain speed level, I believe there's a noise it makes. There's some sort of it's almost like breaking something.
It's a bang. So when we go through the sound barrier, so at around about 750, 60 miles an hour, so 1,100, 1,200 kilometers an hour, it will break the sound barrier. And so the car you will see, you won't hear it coming. It'll be going faster than the sound takes to get to you. As it goes past you, there's this double crack as the sound hits you like a rifle shot, and then it will go along, and you'll hear it go off down the other side of the desert after the sound.
So anybody coming down here, and I think that's a worry for a lot of people. I'm going to wrap now, but for people that are coming and people that are watching, it's one thing. You're saying it's going faster than a bullet. What am I going to see? Am I going to stand here and just see nothing, or am I going to see something?
You're going to see an adventure. You're going to see an experience. We're here running the car for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and you will see us gradually building up the speed. But that endeavour, that adventure, that pushing into the unknown, that experience is what you'll see.
Amazing. Gentlemen, thank you so much for talking to us here on the program. Enjoy just being here. And more importantly, I can see that the little certificates and medals that are being laid out on the table there, and that's for the community, just as a token of appreciation and thank you from everybody that's been involved in this, to just say thank you for the work that they've done, because really, to date, so much has been done. And I can only imagine in this next year the amount that needs to be done to complete this mission that is going to change the face of a lot of things, and that's a fact. All right, let's take a quick break here on the program. We'll see you after this. Stay tuned.